Whoa. I didn't. All right, so back this part up.
Lay it on me. Did I throw a lot of information out there? I think I did. Yeah, I got exercise equipment to pick up.
We're losing weight, we're losing pounds, and we're gaining episodes.
Tell us about your fitness.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Finding My Fit at 40.
Hey there.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
No complaints.
Chrissy's here, Mike's here. They're not complaining. That's good.
Never
I'm gonna complain a little
complain.
bit. I'm so tired.
Damn, I just ruined that.
Yeah, sorry. Look, 3 little tiny baby kittens popped out from underneath a set of stairs on
adorable.
Friday at Bogey's, and they barely had their eyes open. They're maybe a week or 2 old, and they needed a mom, and so now I am momming them.
She's momming them, yeah.
Oh, they're so precious.
I expected them to be cute,
Oh, they're cute, Michael.
but I didn't know they were legitimately melt your heart cute.
They're
Oh
real
my
cute.
God.
Like
Yeah.
they're the tiniest things. They're weighed in grams.
They are weighted grams.
And I didn't think they would move much, but you go in there and you just lightly kind of pet them with your finger because you don't want to damage these tiny, fragile little creatures. And then it rolls over, bears its little
They
tummy.
do their little stupid feet.
And this little feet where the toes just spread apart. They're all pink and stuff. It was the
They're so cute, but I have to wake up every 2 to 3 hours to feed them. And
Yeah.
It's a disgusting
Sounds
way to
not
live.
worth it.
it's like I wake up and I'm like,
Victor,
God.
they would die.
No,
Are you saying
sounds-
kittens'
That is
lives
the
are not worth
motivation.
it?
I am saying right now, here's a hot take for you. Cats are the worst thing ever.
no.
I am
What?
out on cats. I'm so out on cats.
Cats are little nature's
No,
ninjas.
I'm gonna bring one of these.
Nature's
I'm gonna bring
ninjas?
one over, and you're gonna have to tell it sucks to its
I
little
know,
tiny
right?
perfect
No,
face.
I won't have to say anything because my dog will eat it before you get it
Down
into
to
the house.
scale, there is no difference between a cat and a tiger.
I agree.
Scale. I'm not really hanging out with tigers either, so that's not really.
you're missing out.
I am missing out.
Ask Tyson.
That's-
Yeah. That's Tiger King. Don't ask him.
I was
Don't
gonna
ask
say,
him.
I
He's in
can't.
prison.
He's
I mean,
out.
actually, anybody probably could, and you just pen pal him up, you know?
We should pen pal Tiger King and see if he responds to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask him about your kittens.
Be like, hey man.
How do I turn these kittens into tigers?
How do I? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but if I don't wake up and feed them, then 3 little potatoes die. So I have to get up and feed them.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that actually true? Because, they survive
not-
without being fed without
yeah,
you.
I think that IRL they could probably go for 12 hours.
so here's
but
another
they would,
question: How
not
did you
be
know they
happy.
didn't have a mom?
Well,
Because they came out of somewhere.
they did, yeah. So she existed at some point. I think they came out because she hadn't been around for a while because they literally came out when they heard us. But we recorded their meows, and me and this very sweet lady named Donna, who works for the Island Feral Cat Project, tried to go up there at random hours at night when there's not people around and play their cries and see if we could find her. And we just could not find this mom. So I don't know what happened to her. And they were in a really weird place. So I feel like she was moving them, and something happened
Oh, no.
because they were in a very not good location. I feel like an experienced cat mom at least would not have put them there.
Right.
I mean, how experienced? Of a
But it
cat
could have been her
mom-
first litter. Who knows?
Well,
Yeah.
we don't always get experience before we have babies, you know?
yeah. I mean, I just all of a
gotta
sudden
wing
got,
it.
got thrown into it, Michael. You know.
I know.
No experience.
Thrown into motherhood.
It feels like it would be a good thing for before if someone's considering having a child to just have to raise a litter of kittens from 1 week to 8 weeks.
There should be a process.
good trial
so you
run.
start with a plant, and then you work your way
Yeah.
up, and then yeah. I mean, hey, that's how with training.
Training.
I don't know.
Training.
I'm a big sink or swim kind of guy, you know?
dive
Trial
right
by
in.
fire or child?
Child by
Trial by
fire?
child.
Child by trial. Wait, what? I'm on trial for the child. Wait, what? So you go from dumpster kitty to
Dumpster king.
Yeah, it's annoying because I have a big cat and a little cat, and that's what I call them, big cat and little cat. And then we brought the dumpster cat home, so I was pivoting, and he was little cat, and there was medium cat, and then I brought home these little tiny cats, and I'm the cats are so many sizes, I cannot keep up.
You still have the dumpster kitty too?
Yes, I do have the dumpster kitty.
So how many cats do you currently have in your house?
6.
Oh, I didn't even see the dumpster kitty. Where's
Yeah,
where's the
dumpster kitty's in
kitty?
the gym.
Oh, that makes sense. Getting
He was
swole.
supposed to get fixed yesterday, and they had to push it a week. But I'm going to the Humane Society with the kittens on Friday, so I'm going to ask them if they maybe think that he would be adoptable or what.
Okay, all right.
Otherwise, he's just going to have to live at Bogey's outside,
Fair enough.
like
yeah.
a dumpster kitty might do.
Like a dumpster kitty might do.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like you've already had him inside too long that now he can't I don't understand how this cat thing works.
I don't know. He honestly wasn't really thriving outside, which is why I would like to get him adopted.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so if you're putting him back outside,
we got him like
are
a
you not?
really dope outside cat house, and so the intention would be that we would feed him. He would just live there. So I could be all right with that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
I just think you need to raise a cat army to protect your homestead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
A
working
cat
on it.
army.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do really good against the raccoon that was
No.
there, so
Hey,
Yeah.
That's why you need an army.
that's why you
We need
an
more
army.
than one.
Yes.
And when there's an invading
emaciated,
horde of
underfed one.
raccoons, you just have to outdo it in numbers. It's a numbers game.
No, got you. Yeah, but if you start feeding cats, then doesn't that bring raccoons around too? Because there's food
That's
out?
what I was saying. I think that we
Yeah.
need to like literally feed him like once a day. And like,
I
he
actually
eats it,
want
and
a
that's
baby
it.
raccoon.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah, right?
They're so cute.
I have seen video. I would be more on board with a raccoon than a cat. I've seen video of a raccoon in a high chair eating with a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so cute with their little hands.
I
Yeah,
know,
because they can
I
actually
know.
grab
They
stuff.
do stuff with those little hands.
Yeah, right.
And they just look sneaky all the time.
I saw this
The
terrifying video. It looked like someone was like feeding raccoons, and they live underneath their like deck. So there's like they're sticking their little hands up through the holes in the deck, and I thought it looked like fucking zombies
Yeah.
at first. And I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh my god, that's just a bunch of little raccoons all sticking their little hands up, grabbing whatever."
That's a little creepy.
they're cute.
What if
Adorably creepy.
What if
Yeah.
you step on a hand? Oh, that would be awful. I feel
Well,
bad.
they have survival instincts. So,
So you would hope they would survive,
Right.
if you broke their arm.
Michael, are you
Maybe.
educating us today on something?
I am. Well, it's a thought-provoking conversation.
I
for the
love
most part.
those.
Yeah.
Ooh, all
'Cause
right.
As you know, a lot of this stuff applies slightly differently to everybody, but I feel like this is kind of one of the important ones, especially as people transition through life for the most part. We're going to dig back into routines a little bit. I know we have touched on it before, but I kind of want to dig to a deeper level to where it sort of emotionally gets people, where it catches people by surprise as they kind of move from one big thing in life to the next. And the one where really it sort of sunk in with me was looking back on my retirement from the military and transitioning from when you have a routine.
That's a huge difference.
Oh, it was huge. Absolutely huge. So going from having a day-to-day where I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we knock out work and then we work out and then there's lunch and then you're back to work and then you fly.
It was
and
like
then
working out was almost like part of your day.
it was literally part of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then when you get off work, like all your stuff's done and then you can go do house stuff or chill or whatever. So going from that to civilian life and not having a routine and now having to set your routine and be a self-starter where you're not tied to anything specifically was very, very difficult. And you would think it would be an
super
easy
hard.
thing where you've got the freedom. So yeah, build that
in your
life,
brain,
do all
you're
the
like,
things you want.
I'm going to have all this time and I'm going to get all this stuff done. But it's hard because there's like the only person making you do it is you.
Right. And it's a lot of people look at that, well, yeah, just fucking do it. And for the most part, you are right. But when you're used to doing something for the better part of 20 fucking years,
Yeah.
it is a mind shift and it is a motivation shift.
that how
and
many
it is a
years you-
discipline shift.
How many years were you?
20 years. I did 20 years. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's half your life. So like,
Easily. And
Yeah.
basically all of my adult life.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
literally
yeah.
all of my adult life. So anything prior to that is you're still figuring shit out. You're kind of stepping into
Yeah, but
the
also
world
you were
little
in a
bit.
routine, right? You were in school. You had to get up
That's
every
gonna be
day
my next
at
point,
the
yeah.
same amount, at the same time.
so you went from having a routine forever to
Yeah.
like boom, gone.
There's
Yeah,
no routine.
basically. I mean, even I did college for a little bit, but then I also just, worked and did my thing and then opted for the military. So I had some sort of a schedule / routine or something that I was tied to and had to go to. So that was another thing that, I stayed up late or didn't get a lot of sleep. And then the next day, I just didn't get a damn thing done. When I had this epiphany, when I was working or in the military, it didn't matter if I was out till 2, 3 o'clock
Yeah,
in the
you
morning.
had to get up.
I had to get up in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I had to get to work. I still had to work out
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
like
being
someone,
paid to work out.
someone
so,
else is holding you accountable. It makes all of the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I
like-
started thinking more to this broader category of, professional athletes or collegiate athletes or, prior military or prior, police, fire, whatever the case may be, where you are tied to your fitness and you have to be somewhat disciplined in training, in nutrition, and just moving nonstop. Where you see a lot of professional athletes that have now packed on 50, 60, 70 pounds when these guys were monsters back in the day. And it's the same thing
But it
for
was their
military
job.
people looking
Yeah, I was
back.
gonna say. I think it's also you. It's like anything that you're required to do all the time. You almost create a disdain about it as well. So I think that's part of it for some athletes is they're just like, after this working out,
finally
I
have
did
the
this.
freedom
yeah,
to
I
not
completely
do
so
it.
agree.
I'm not going to do that. I don't care about the routine, but like they feel just freer.
Because you
in
think
general.
about a professional athlete, you're right. They're working out 4 hours in the
lot.
morning,
Yeah,
4
yeah,
hours
yeah.
in the afternoon or evening, and they're doing sports-specific drills, and it's a job.
But I was going to say too, what you were saying about like those specific things. I feel like the routine part of that too also applies to certain people with regular day jobs. Like
Absolutely.
they have it built in at 5 a.m. They go to the gym, they do this, and then they switch. Right now, I feel like this is a really big hot button topic too, because a lot of people have switched from having 9 to 5s that they go to
Yeah,
to
they
working
work from
from home and being at home, switching up with online careers and all that kind of stuff, growing in the numbers of people that are doing it.
Yeah, in popularity, yeah.
Yeah, that. How does that change your routine in all of that
Right.
stuff as well?
So
'Cause-
I'm looking at this whole conversation as there are two facets. Like
Yeah.
you've got the athlete / military active lifestyle that you had to have. And on the other side, because the scenario you just laid out for the quote unquote average person who gets up and goes to the gym at 5 and then goes to work, et cetera, that's not happening on average. So then it gets even worse where you haven't managed to find a routine for your health and fitness. And I'm not talking about getting out and turning into Lord Swoldemort and just getting and just getting shredded as hell. Like this is not the aspect that we try. Sorry, I should have given me a little more time for that one.
That one got me.
This our overall standpoint for the podcast and what I try and coach into people is sure, chase some physique goals, but the overarching goal is to be healthy, happy,
Yeah.
leaner in the extent of it's healthier for your body, down to a certain level of leanness, where you're not rocking around with 30% body fat percentage that your body just doesn't need to operate well. So it's focusing on kind of both sides of that coin, where if you are focusing on health and setting up that routine in general, you're going to be better equipped for when things change. You're like, okay, well, I have to get back to this. What's the path back to this? But if you already don't have a routine and haven't managed to squeeze that into your life with your 9 to 5, now that you don't have a 9 to 5, it's even harder to get started because you haven't seen the progress. You haven't, found those small motivational bursts and definitely haven't instilled the discipline to get back into a routine.
It's certainly a
even
double-edged
faster.
sword, right? Because, let's say I had a 9 to 5. You got to get up early. Maybe you have kids. You got to feed them. You got to get them to school. You got to get your ass to work. You're there all fucking day. You get back. It's very exhausting. You have to feed yourself, feed the kids, take them to whatever.
yeah.
It's a lot. So it's hard to find the time to gym. And then you go to a situation where you don't have a 9 to 5. You have way more time. But now you don't have a forced routine. There's nothing making you get up and go and do the thing. And it's like, fuck, man.
Totally.
It's both of those situations are hard.
So what do you do to get amped up to start moving? Like, what do you think your path would be in that realm?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm in that situation. I'm granted, I don't have kids. I don't have to feed them and all these things. But
No, you just have 1,000 cats.
no
and you
one.
take care.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Really,
Which
right
again
now
adds to the fatigue
it does.
and
It adds to the
responsibility.
fatigue. It does. You kind of just have to find something that works, and
But how do
you
you
have to.
find
I
something
have to
that
hold myself accountable.
We all do.
You know?
Nobody gets to miss out on that one. Ultimately,
Yeah.
Like even if you are in your routine and have time to work out,
But basically, that's what I do. Is I try to make a routine.
that's the key sentence right there.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks that there are a lot of people that think they can thrive on chaos, and I was that guy for a long time.
Yeah.
You were that guy that you thought, or that
I
you
thought
did?
I could, and I did. Like I managed to make it work, and that was the
Thrive
ADHD
or
too.
exist. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think that's a big part of it too.
I do a lot of existing in chaos.
Yeah.
but I don't think
being
I'm
that I made
thriving.
it through an extremely elite school and operate at a high level for 20 years, I did thrive. But looking back on the entire mix, I worked way harder to thrive in that scenario than I would have if I had had more routines, more organization, had been able to actually, take care of my ADHD back then. I'm not talking about being medicated all the time. I still don't medicate all the time for ADHD because you lose that element of social adaptation. Quick tangent, but this is one thing as somebody who was diagnosed as a child through the proper channels at a time where they were just throwing pills at kids. my mother and father took me through multiple psychologists. We discussed it heavily before ever starting on a dosage of Ritalin, and it was very effective for me back then. So I highly recommend you do not overly medicate children, and that's the easy button to do that, because they're going to be a little more compliant. They're going to be more in tune with what needs to happen, a little more organized, and a little more off your plate. But that's not going to be good long term for a child. Like
for anybody in any scenario.
Well,
that's
for
a lot
anybody
of
for
things.
sure. But it's more important to establish as a child where you are allow the social adaptations, where you correct, where you are involved in your child's life, instead of like if you have kids. Being tired, you don't just get to be tired. The child still has to be raised, and that's the toughest part about being a parent. And I'm not trivializing that. Like, it's a very difficult I was a very difficult child to raise.
Yeah, no shit.
I was all over the place. I was highly energetic. I rebelled against punishments in general, like it was a challenge, and I didn't know how to kind of get my shit together. But my parents stayed the course. Didn't just medicate me all the damn time. And then having to go through the military unable to medicate, I continued that social adaptation. For many years, I was a very annoying person. I probably still step into that every once in a while.
Keeping on your tangent for 2 seconds is, as the one here who has kids, and the thing that I try to remember when I am raising these kids is exactly that of... it's not about this moment. Like, yes, it's so much easier if I just hand them a tablet right now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so much easier in this moment. But the phrase that I think about all the time while I'm raising them is I'm trying to create productive adults.
Yes.
How can I create
successful and productive adults who can take care of themselves efficiently?
Yes, who can be part of society and be a productive member of society. How do I create a good adult? This is what I'm creating right now. Even though there's so many times that I've been doing something, I'm like, this sucks, but it'll be better for them in the long run. It'll be better for them in the long. Like,
you really have to look at them and be like, these are future adults. Constantly.
Yes,
and I think at this point in my life, I take deeper looks at like the people around me and the scenarios that are going on, and I'm insanely impressed with the parents that take that kind of responsibility and do it. Because watching it and hearing about it, I'm exhausted just fucking listening to it.
Dude.
And
it's exhaustive. If you're doing it right, it's exhaustive.
And even so, just to clarify on that, like, I'm also not coming down on if there's any parents out there listening and they're like, F you about tablets. We use tablets. I have them.
Yeah.
I have tablets for both of my kids. I just try to limit the idea of it because it's for their well-being in the long run. Just
Absolutely.
As a personal reference of just yesterday, we had soccer practice. My daughter practices twice a week. My son practices once a week. We were at my daughter's soccer practice, so my son was sitting there. We were playing, and we used to just take a tablet, and he used to just sit there on his tablet the whole time during practice, and it was easy for us.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, you're out of the way. I'm like, done, we can watch practice. And the more I thought about it, I was like, what am I doing? Like, why is this for you? So I stopped, and I took a ball, and he now plays the entire time, and he's running around, and he's active, and I play with him now.
Yeah.
And like show him stuff even for soccer and be like, oh, let's do this, and we work on things.
But he
and
enjoys
we play.
it more. Also,
Way more.
He's getting dad
he's
time.
Smiling.
Absolutely.
He's laughing.
Yeah.
He's gonna remember. He's not gonna remember
having to sit at his sister's practices and it sucked and it was boring.
yes, he's
Yeah.
gonna remember being at practice and be like, I loved when I used to go. We used to kick the ball with dad, and he plays
Yeah.
with the other parents. The other parents are laughing and smiling. I see
Yeah.
he's running around with them.
Cute.
But he got to be a little too much yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he was getting bored. He was thinking. So I was like, okay. Here, you can have my phone for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So for the last 20, 30 minutes, it's an hour and a half. Her practices are an hour and a half long. It's freaking long for a 7-year-old.
It feels like a long
is,
time.
It is a very long time. But it's good, whatever. She does that twice a week. But for him, it's tough. That's an hour and a half is
Yeah.
just tough for him. So for the last 30 minutes, let him have my phone. I was like, ugh, as I'm doing it. But there are those moments. I get that. I completely understand.
It's balanced,
But
though, yeah.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
You got
but
him
for the first
activity
hour,
in,
he got
parent
play.
time. Like, I'm not going to look down on people who do that same thing either. And you've also got the insanely busy parents or single parents, or some may work from home and have to get shit done while their young one's there. Like, you can't always just quote unquote be that amazing parent. You're being an amazing parent by providing for your children at that point, and you have to do what you have to do.
And to bring it back into the fitness realm, to be able to be that amazing parent and to be able to do those things, like I could play with him for that hour.
Right.
I needed to get my butt to where I'm at now, and I'm still chasing goals of better physical fitness because of the fact of my kids.
Yeah.
So use that as a motivator to get yourself this routine.
Absolutely.
Because it helps all of those aspects. I can be a better parent because I don't weigh what I weighed before, and because I'm in better shape now.
Yep.
Being good for your kids is also taking care of you. Take care of yourself, and you can be better for everyone else around
It's
you.
like when you're
That
on the
includes your
airplane, you got to put
kids.
your mask on first before you put it on someone
I
else.
use
That's
that
right.
analogy
Yeah.
all the time because it's so true.
I don't know. I've never heard you use that, Victor. I think that's on Chrissy. She's
Actually,
got
steal that one from Aaron. He says that when I say why he's making his coffee first before mine. That's what he tells me.
Oh, yeah.
Very impressive. Yeah. That's well played.
Yeah, that is well played.
Well played.
No,
So I think this, again, bringing it back to
Yeah, yeah,
fitness,
bring
like
it
you're
back.
saying, and the establishment of new routines to, well, yeah, I guess new routines from the athlete's point of view, we've gone to the average person. You both need a new routine. And so the way you end up going about that, I think, is going to be very different. And while you brought up how the professional athlete who has spent, well, shit, I was going to say 10, 15, 20 years as a professional athlete, but to get to that level, you've spent 10, 15 years in
Yeah,
your
just trying to
sport
get
as
there,
it is.
yeah.
So you spent your entire life just getting the shit kicked out of you, getting to that zone. It's easy to look at that and go to the extreme, be like, fuck that, I don't want to work out anymore. I've either got money now, I don't have to chase anything down. Why even bother? And so I think you've gone from one extreme to another where we continually push balance from that perspective. You don't have to work out like you used to work out. And you don't have to be as dialed in nutrition-wise as you were as a professional athlete. You just find that happy medium where you can be somewhere in the middle, where you're working out 2 to 3
That's
times
where we all
a
need
week
to be,
for
is
less
happily
time.
somewhere in the middle. I mean, granted, it's different for you. You're a fitness coach and that's your job. So I think you have to be like a little bit above average. But for
Right.
the average human who's out there, who has kids and has a day job and has to do all these things, like, you have to try to find a happy medium and find a way to put that into your schedule.
And so I think
hard.
for the professional athlete or military, whatever scenario that we painted initially, that balance will be somewhere in the middle to bottom half of things, whereas the initial person coming in to establish a routine can literally start on the bottom and work up. So I thought about this yesterday because I went in for my gym workout, and I knew it was going to be a long one because I'm lifting 2 to 3 times a week. I'll lift for a long time to get the volume that I need. I didn't feel good. My stomach was kind of off. I didn't feel super motivated. I had to take a little more rest time in between because I'm like, man, I'm just not getting a good feeling right now, but I need to do this. And there's an element of it's not supposed to feel good to push yourself all the time. Sometimes it's just not going to feel good, but you don't have to do an hour-long workout when you don't feel good. And when you're first starting out, doing a few sets of something and kind of pushing through the discomfort a little bit and then calling it good is fine. Like, there's this build-up process where I think a lot of people miss because they want these results so fucking quick, when the quickest route is literally doing something consistent over a long period of time. That's the fastest route. You don't need 5, 6, 7 workouts a week. You don't need more than 2, literally.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 workouts a week of 15 to 20 minutes when you're starting out with a good amount of rest in between sets, make yourself uncomfortable, because that's going to transition to every single thing in life. If you are able to start pushing through a little discomfort now, any discomfort that life throws at you, you're not going to be as paralyzed by it. You're going to become more durable.
I think you also will find afterwards, you're like, well, that wasn't so bad.
Oh, 100%.
I think we make it worse in our heads. than it
Absolutely.
actually is.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about all the time, how the mental side of everything, that's the toughest part of all of it, is what we beat ourselves up. The word that popped into my head going through this whole process of what we're talking about here is forgiveness. Because, like, when you don't have that routine, you beat yourself up, or when you're living in the chaos, you're like, crap, I didn't do what I meant to do that yesterday, and I did this. Like, forgive yourself and move on. Like, I feel like for me, that's the struggle, is like, I get so pissed. I'm like, damn, I missed this. Now I'm screwed up. And
That's been me for like a month, Victor. It's like nice to hear you say that, because you're like, I'm like,
absolutely.
you're right, man. Yeah.
yeah,
But
forgive yourself.
And
It's
I
okay.
still do the
Like,
same thing every now and then. You end up catching yourself in the mentality. And I originally saw this analogy with So He Fit. It was great. And then, again, I think James Smith kicked it out. But it's if you get a flat tire, you don't get out of your car and then stab the rest of your tires. Like, fuck it, I got to get 4 new tires now. So it's the same thing where you go off your diet.
I kind of want to do that now, just because. But yeah, see, Mike, I did it.
But you eat a cookie, and you're like, fuck it, my whole diet's off. Well, fuck it, I'm just going to eat this whole plate of cookies. Fuck it, my diet's off. I'll start again next week. No. Because as you know, it's actually easier to lose fat than it is to gain fat. Now let me dig deeper into that.
I was like,
So,
wait,
yeah,
I
know,
disagree
know.
with that.
I was like,
I'm-
challenge accepted, Michael.
Right?
Let me see if I can rechange your brain matter on this one.
I was going to say, I mean, we can
if
go
you
down
have
that
if you have
science
a
path.
calorie deficit for the day, you're essentially going to lose that much body fat, right?
Okay.
Yes or no? We're on the
Yes.
same page? Okay.
Yep.
Now, if you eat over your calories for the same calorie amount, are you going to store all that as fat?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
in
like,
terms
yeah.
of the science of how it actually
Correct.
accrues to your body, yes.
Now,
calorie,
is
yeah.
it
Of what
easier to
goes
gain
into my
fat
pie
long term
hole,
by just not?
That is
I
weird.
ate one donut last night and didn't eat more than one donut.
I know, I saw that.
Even though
Categorized it. watched
Vincent
it.
brought like a bunch
He
of
did.
donuts.
And
What
pie
kind of
too.
donut?
Just glazed.
Like from where?
Oh, from
Probably
Publix
Kroger.
or something.
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, grocery store.
It's easy to say no.
Yeah, if they were
sometimes
like
to that stuff.
hot
Yeah.
in the box, that would have been a big problem.
Yeah, like yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. So my point is, if you happen to go over calorie on a specific day, your diet's not ruined because at best, your body's not going to store any overage in protein. It's not going to store really any overage in carbohydrates if you're active, maybe 2% of that, which is not a lot. So you're going to end up storing some excess fat. So by overeating on a day, even if you kind of go off the rails, you're going to store a few ounces of fat, kind of at best. And the next day, by just getting back on track, you're golden. Like that's it. And it's a mindset that is very easy when it's spoken out loud. It's not as easy in practice.
Yeah, it's hard in practice.
So it's continually cementing that idea into your head, your psyche, your practice. And so forgiving yourself is a huge thing right there because you take that day, you forgive yourself for that day. All right, cool. Back on track tomorrow. I haven't really lost ground.
So that's kind of what I was going to say here is like, I get what you're saying. And even the idea of forgiving myself is because I feel like for the last few months, I've said before, I've just got a lot of personal crap going on and I haven't really worked out the way I
Right.
wanted to. And I've been just like eating like my face off. And I feel like I'm like, man, I'm going to be 300 pounds in like no time here because I feel like that's what I'm eating like. I feel like I'm like, I'm emotionally eating. I'm having breakdowns of like where I'm just like, fuck
Right.
it, I'm going to eat all of this.
Yeah.
And so like I've done that a few times and I'm like, man, I must weigh so much more than I did. And I got on a scale and I've gained like maybe 5 pounds.
Right.
And I was like, whoa. That's it. And I've been like, I was like, all right. It actually remotivated me to be like, all right.
Yeah.
I got like, so I've, again, really tried to focus on my nutrition and started like, I got back in the gym again, bet more than I've been doing like one thing here and there.
You're
or,
already
the-
like putting that down. You're back in the gym again, period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying I had been in the gym
Yeah.
because I was doing like I would do like one workout of like do like kettlebell squats and then that's all I would do that day or like so I actually did like a workout
Like a whole routine.
like a whole routine. Yeah, I actually did
That's fine,
multiple
yeah.
things. That's what I mean. So like I did that and I'm like, okay, let's get back on track. Here we go. And I use that word forgiveness because I had to go into it with the mentality of like, just forgive yourself. Like allow yourself. That's where you were. That's what you did. Forgive yourself. And now let's go.
Yeah, I'm on a struggle because I hurt myself.
Yeah.
And so like now gymming is like, it's really hard. I finally got in the gym again on like Monday and like I did some things, but I had to do things like really, really light because like my hands are like I can't really push anything heavy. I can't really pull anything heavy. And so that's been like really frustrating. And I was already not in the gym for a while because there's been a cat in my gym. And so it was kind of hard, and I feel like I can feel myself withering away. I'm losing muscle
We
mass.
always make
I
it
have
way
right now.
worse than it is, and
That I
this
did
is something
notice,
that
though.
has to be highlighted too.
Yeah.
Because the more people realize it's okay to feel those things, we are all feeling those things. The
Yeah.
penultimate physiques in the world are feeling those things. In
There's
fact,
nothing like feeling like
a
you're
lot of those
losing your
physiques are a little
gains.
more fucked up emotionally.
Yes, 100%.
Because I feel like you work so hard for that.
Me, yeah, I flexed in the mirror for the first time in a while, and I was like, my muscles are blurrier than they were
Yeah,
last
man.
time I looked.
It feels like it goes really fast. I don't know. I hate
It's
it.
not.
And
But
it's
that's
not.
it's
that's
not,
kind of what I
yeah.
was saying. Is it's not that fast. Like I thought, oh man, because I felt like a little blurry, but it's because I have a different perspective now. I feel like that's part of it. And so like when I was like my arm muscle was my tricep is a little more blurred than it was, and I was like, oh man, I gained so much weight. And I went and looked. I was like, oh, all right, I can 5 pounds. That's like 3 weeks, maybe I could knock that out and be right back to where the hell I was.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Here we go.
Like 3
Let's
enjoyable
go.
weeks where you start to feel more energetic and leaner and stronger. And so it's everybody. I think a lot of people look at this whole gym culture as, this big meathead thing, and you got to work out, and I don't want to be that person in the gym, and it's just working out, and it's not just working out. Like, it transitions to everything else in your life. And so that's why I think doing the bare minimum is fine. The bare minimum for progress, essentially. The least amount of working out to force your body to adapt. I will always, always, always push that because it's an easier pill to swallow than trying to go into the gym 4 to 6 days a week. I don't even lift 4 to 6 days a week right now. Like, it's not necessary for progress. Doesn't need to be done.
Yeah,
So-
I'm stuck in this trap right now where I can't even make progress. I just feel like it's like I can't lift heavy enough to progressively overload. So it's like now I'm like just fighting to maintain until my shit heals.
Right.
And like,
Yeah. And that's okay. And that's still going to help you heal faster. And then,
for sure. And I think that's another thing that just to highlight. It's like sometimes you get stuck in a position where like
Or you maintain as opposed
you have to
improve.
maintain rather than lose.
Right.
And so I was looking up while we were talking too, where we were saying about like we're overall everything. So I haven't been in the gym the same way, but my steps have been. That's what blows my mind. Like my average steps last year, they were up last year, and I was almost to 8,000 last year. I'm averaging over 9,000 now, which
Wow.
is still
That's
up,
fantastic.
'cause
That's pretty
for
good,
The year
yeah.
before, it was like 4 to 6,000.
4 to 6,
was
yeah.
like my-
4,000-ish,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that was up to like 7. I
Yeah.
got that average up, and now I'm averaging over
Yeah,
like
you
9,000.
more than doubled it over
So
a year and a half.
those things, seeing that, when I
adds up.
realized that, I was like, and even like I said, I was playing around with my son and stuff. Like I'm willing, I've said this before when I first lost all the weight, is I'm not used to that body. Like I forget that I can do things because I'm so used to
Right.
like being out of shape for so long. Like random things like getting up off the couch. I was pushing off my knees and I was like, oh, I don't have to do that. I can just stand up. And so like I'm finally changing my mentality. Even that's why my steps I feel have gone up too, because I'm not like, hey, can you pass me that? I'm like, just get up and go get it. Like it's
Right.
no big deal now.
Absolutely.
So I get up and start doing that, playing with my son where I'm like, oh, I can't play. Like he's gonna want to play, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, and I'm bouncing around playing soccer with him, and I'm like not tired after, not winded. I feel fine. I feel better actually because I moved a little bit.
I think the key for all of that is literally like understanding that you're going to look better no matter what. And I think people always chase that first. Not always, but a lot of people chase that first. If you already know it's a guaranteed, how about we start chasing that health, that energy,
Yeah,
and that happiness? And when you were able to focus on that, that's the deeper rooted thing that's going to stay with you and drive you more than just looking good.
Another thing, because like, so you're noticing that you are in a better physical condition and you can do all these things and it's not so hard anymore and it just kind of comes more naturally now. I think it happens with eating too, where like you get so accustomed, you learn how to eat well that when you start eating what would be maybe like less good or whatever, you feel like it's really, really bad. And you're like,
100%.
man, I must be gaining all this weight. I must be, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I've pivoted my eating so much
Right.
that now it feels like I've, gone off the rails when you really, really haven't. I've felt the same way.
Yeah.
And then, you go weigh yourself and you're like, oh, maybe I haven't really been that bad.
Yeah, well, because like I was saying, my maintenance, I've said this, but about 2,500 is my maintenance. So I've been like really bad, and I did the math. I was like, oh, I was so awful. And I was at like 3,500, and I was like, that's even not that crazy terrible. Like, okay, I'm 1,000 calories over my maintenance, but I was eating when I was bad before, like 8 to 10,000 calories in a day. There was days, I don't think I've ever gotten close to that now. And that's
You still instinctively, I mean, just like you brought up,
Yeah, man, it's like-
leaning more towards nutrient dense foods. So yeah, you're still getting some less nutrient dense foods in the mix, but you've balanced it out enough that you're not really going to drastically
You're just
go
like
over
way
calories.
more, I guess, conscious or really, maybe it's
an
not you're
educated,
conscious
it's an
about it.
educating
Maybe it's in the back of
process
your
right
mind,
there.
but yeah.
You've educated
both.
and
Yeah.
set, routines in action
yeah.
over this last year and a half that have stuck with you.
Yeah,
and
like
that's the point
it
of
makes a good
building
habit.
something over a year plus.
like when I let it loose on pizza. We talk about pizza all the time. That's one of our favorite foods in the pod.
yeah, absolutely.
I've been able to let it loose and eat an entire pizza in one
Yeah.
sitting without thinking about it. And now I eat like 4 slices, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. Like, and I realized that this is all stuff that. It's funny that like, this is all like really new, like in the last like couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just let loose on pizza, and I was like, oh man, I can't believe. This is all I started thinking because I weighed myself, like I said, and I gained like 5 pounds. And then I was like, yeah, even that, like I didn't eat the whole thing. That's what I would have done in the past.
Right.
Eat the whole pizza and not even realize. Like, I mean, not cared,
it
but
just goes down so easy.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
ate half of it and
Right.
still felt the same way that I used to feel after the whole pizza.
When you get used to looking for that point where you're actually satisfied, you're able to just sort of stop there. Whereas usually, I mean, myself included, you just keep eating because it's enjoyable. I don't care if I stuff myself. But if you start looking for the satisfaction point, which is what we should be looking for, like a lot of people I think like the idea of, man, I wish there was a pill and I could just eat all the shit that I want ever and do all
There
the things
is.
I want. You won't appreciate that.
Yeah.
You won't appreciate it. When you
Yeah,
can have everything you want,
I think
getting
you got
the
a good
things that are
point.
enjoyable become
When you-
less enjoyable.
When you say like you're looking for the satisfaction point, I feel like if that's something that you could keep in the forefront of your mind, which is kind of hard because when you're eating something delicious,
It's hard, yeah.
it's like fuck it. But you know, like we were talking about eating breakfast last time on the last episode, which hasn't aired yet, but we talked about.
But it will by the time people are listening.
That's right. You're
So
right,
it's fine.
Michael. Yeah, we talked about eating breakfast and trying to maybe eat earlier in the day, and so I've been doing that, and I find that I get full.
Yeah.
Like I get pretty full.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to actively like look for that satisfaction point
Mm-hmm.
when I'm eating, which is I mean, it's easier when you're eating a high protein meal. So if you like start
absolutely.
your day with like a good high protein meal, like
And you start to
just
experiment. You find the range of flavors that sort of do it for you. And for me, it's flavors and input. So when I get the weight in my stomach of food, that's one signaling factor, but it's not enough for me. So then I need the savory. So like again, my favorite breakfast over the last probably closer to a month or so has been breakfast sandwiches. It's on a bagel. I do it open face, 2 eggs per. I've got a balsamic glaze on the bagel, provolone, 2 eggs.
That sounds
and I
good.
use the like Cajun seasoning thing. I can't remember what that stuff's called. Dale's or something? Dolls. No, Jason's. No, Dave's. Something.
it's a guy's name and it's
like
a
Frank.
Cajun seasoning.
It's like Frank. Yeah.
So that 2 different pieces of fruit and a thing of yogurt. And so I get my savory, I get my sweet fix. I have a lot of protein. And
I could not eat all of that.
So
so much.
It ends up
I've
being about 800 to 1,000 calories, depending on what I throw on after the breakfast sandwich, and that's good for me for a little while.
for like an hour. So I've recently heard this phrase, and I think when we're talking about food now with this whole idea, I've really tried to resonate with this. Have you heard this? The eat what you want, add what you need.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Whoa. Eat what you need, add what you want.
No, eat
Make
what you want,
add what you need.
what you need.
Like half of my recipes are that, right? My recipes are what do I want to eat and how do I add
Oh,
what
I'm
I
tracking.
need
Okay.
to
Yes.
it.
All right.
So you eat what you want, or even like the example that I saw this like she wanted this like cinnamon toast that she was talking about. That was the reel I saw, and she wanted like the cinnamon toast with cream cheese. So she got that, but then she didn't only eat that.
yeah.
She made eggs and made like turkey sausage and other stuff so that she's full. So she ate what she wanted, but then she
Right.
added what she needed.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing like we talk about pizza. I now add grilled chicken to almost
Always.
all of my pizza.
Always, yeah.
And now when I eat 3 slices of pizza or 2 slices, I'm fuller and longer.
Yep.
Where I would eat pizza, just cheese pizza, and I would devour
And
4
it
or
even
5
takes
slices.
a little longer to chew at that point, so the
Yes.
satisfaction level tends to creep up.
Yeah, and it slows you down because it takes longer to chew,
Correct.
so you also are fuller quicker.
I have a pizza recipe I'm going to drop for today.
oh,
I haven't quite super perfected it, but I'm kind of hoping if I put it out there, like Lauren or someone will
somebody out there.
will make it and
Yeah.
help me perfect it. So
Sweet.
Love
We're
that.
calling on the fans. I like it.
Love
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, so this whole idea of like, I was going to try and save this for next week, but it really applies right now to what we're talking about with
Yeah.
all of this making your routines and all this food
Yeah.
and stuff. Is don't like eat what you want, but then just add extra protein
yeah,
to
man,
it,
if
or
you
add
want
extra
something
fiber
really,
to
really
it.
bad, eat it with a whole ass plain boring chicken breast. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you want donuts? Make a sandwich out of a Yo, have
Yeah.
you ever had a sandwich out of a donut?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, it's so
The
good.
pork belly one from
Ordinary
Yeah.
Pub.
Ordinary Pub.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you can do that. Like, you really want a donut? Cut up some chicken, slice it down, throw that on top
Yeah.
with some. Oh my
Sounds
gosh.
weird, but the sweet
I
and savory
bet you
from that
that's
is
good
pretty
as
banging.
fuck. That sounds real good.
That's it. You're gonna go home and do it now, aren't you?
Well, I don't have a donut.
She's like, I already had a donut last night. Had I thought about it last
Yeah,
night?
shit.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
have.
so
Yeah,
I mean, I think some of the fundamentals that we're kicking out make sense when you hear them. So the whole routine thing,
Yeah, that is the most
I
important
think
part.
people just still get into the rapid fire scenario. They want to get there quick. They want to do too much, and then it just never sticks.
So how do you
whether-
make your routine?
I was going to say,
Mike?
that's exactly what I was going to ask. So what would you do? You're setting up brand new. You just got out of this situation where you just got out. What did you do?
Oh, you mean kind of like I did kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. So what you just got out of the
And
service.
maybe you
Take us
didn't
back
handle
to
it
that
beautifully,
time.
Mike. How would you have
I
done it?
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
what did you do, and what would you do
I got
differently?
depressed and
Yeah.
had to start figuring shit out. But
Yeah.
then, luckily I fell right into the film industry. I still had my coaching business for the most part. And so I just sort of kind of maintained and gave myself permission to just dig into
Figure it
this
out.
and ride the highs and lows. And it's not that I was unhappy. Like I had a plan exiting the military, but it's such a life change that it lays you low a little bit. And as you sort of figure shit out and feel a little lost.
I feel like that's everything. Like, no matter how much you plan for having a kid,
Dude, yeah.
once something happens, allow yourself to figure the shit out. Like,
Yeah.
you can have a plan, the best laid plan, and it starts to happen. You're like, oh shit, this isn't.
It's just somehow the hours in the day don't make it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think having a flexible plan right off the bat is at least allowing the realm of flexibility. You may not have to have the second, third, and
Yeah, I
fourth
think
iteration
if
already
you
in your
make
head.
it too structured, too structured, where there's no room for flexibility, that makes it almost harder because you probably are likely to fail.
But-
and then,
but I-
And then you're
but
mad
I-
at
how do you
yourself for
pivot?
failing.
Yeah.
But
And then you're
here's
so
my
upset.
point. I think the mental flexibility is even more important. Yeah,
Yes.
don't get too rigid and too structured. But even if you have provided structure, here's your plan, and it may be somewhat rigid and structured, but having the mental flexibility to look at it as opposed to shit, this didn't work. Fuck it. I can't do it. I'll figure it out later.
Right.
As opposed to having the conversation with yourself. Well, okay, shit. Well, I mean, this kind of worked. I think I might want to try this thing in the mix. Let's try that out and see how it goes for a week or two. So having the mental flexibility
Yeah,
to make
change
changes
it,
is
yeah.
huge.
And realizing failure isn't bad because this
100%.
routine failed. That's not bad. That's actually good.
Yeah, but you're-
I try to teach my
Failure
kids.
is a learning process.
Yeah.
I've been trying to teach my daughter because she beats herself up over
She
things
is
all the time.
so hard on herself.
So big time. So I constantly tell her, I was like, "What did you fail at today?" And I try to bring this, and I'm like, and she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like,
She's like,
"Because-"
absolutely nothing. I'm perfect.
Yeah. and I've been trying to express this to her. I'm like, because every time you fail, it's actually awesome. I want her to love failure. And I'm trying really hard to teach her to love failure because that means she had something to learn from.
Yeah.
I heard somebody else talk about this. This is not an original idea by me.
No,
by
you
the
have
way.
a lot of famous people are kicking that out, and anybody who's ever made it, who is open
they
about how
failed
they
a
got
lot
there,
along the
they
way,
like
yeah.
fail. I
Yeah.
failed 1,000,000 times before succeeding. Now you're a millionaire.
I agree, but what I'm saying, the idea for me is using it as a parenting tool.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
because I've seen, like, that's how I feel about me. Like, if I fail, cool. Like, I want to keep
Oh
going.
yeah,
Like,
couldn't
it
care
drives-
less. All right, let's
yeah.
figure this out.
Yeah, 100%. But to teach somebody else that and instill that in a kid, I just am weird and was like blessed by like that's how I felt always. So like, but that's not how everybody feels.
No,
like
no, that's not
instinctually.
a common thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I want it for my kids. I want my kids to be okay to fail, and I want to be able to teach them that it's okay because our society makes it like that failing's not okay. Like that's why we're so structured. That's why there are people who don't leave their 9 to 5s because they're too afraid to fail. They're too afraid.
100%.
This is three
Yep.
people in the room who are not afraid to fail because you can't have your own business and be afraid to fail.
Correct.
Because even when you're successful, you're failing.
Yeah, it's a big gamble.
Yeah,
You know?
and you always
But you
have
gotta take
failures.
it.
You always
Well,
have.
not only is it a big, there's going to be ups and downs.
How many times
no
have you
matter
had to
what.
change your menu?
Dude,
because
how
there
many
was
times do you
something
have to
on
change everything?
Yeah,
we pivot
because-
all the time.
because stuff fails.
And yet you
There's
still have
nothing
successful
wrong with
business.
failure.
There's
Yeah,
going to be ups
you-
and downs.
you have to
no
try.
matter
so
what
that's
you're
what
doing.
I'm saying, and I want that my daughter to realize, both my kids to realize that. Casey just seems my son seems a little more resilient. My daughter takes things very personal, and very
Yeah,
hard.
she
So
does, yeah.
I'm trying really hard to teach her that this is awesome. She's like, I didn't do it. I was like, awesome. And she's like, huh? I was like, because now you learn.
What did you learn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What did you
now
learn?
it's a great opportunity. You love learning. You love school, right? She was like, yeah. I was like, this is learning. That's how you learn. And she's like, oh. And like just that click
Aw.
and that connection
That's
where
good,
she
man.
feels better. And it's still a process, and we're going to be constantly going through it.
Yeah.
But allowing yourself to fail and being like thriving through the failure is awesome. And applaud yourself. I'm talking to everybody listening now.
And-
This is
and-
all to you guys because you need to hear this. It's okay to fail. Fail. Try to fail every day.
If
Try
you're
to
not failing,
fail.
you're not trying.
Yes.
Essentially, in which case you're just staying stagnant.
And so failures are successes. because you've tried something that did not work. Now you have more information.
Now you know how to pivot. Now you know how you'll attack it next
100%.
time.
So attack the failure. That's awesome.
And I think people, it's real easy to look at that in a sports aspect. We use just sports for the
Yes.
analogy. So you win some, you lose some. Simple as that. But why do we take it so hard in regular life shit then? You know what I mean? It's the same principle. You were going to win some, you're going to lose some. You still have a good life.
Well,
you still keep
learn
on
more
moving.
from losing, from failure,
really do.
than you do from winning.
Yeah, when you win, you already know what you need to know to win. Like you've already got that now. So when you lose, now you have something else to attack.
Yeah.
Now you have something else to learn with, to grow, to continue chasing down whatever you're chasing down. But again, it comes down to being in the middle. No extremes. When you're starting a routine, build it small with repeatable, consistent things.
Achievable things.
Yeah, we all want, and I did this myself, even starting that routine and transition. I was like, well, I have all this time. Let's work out 5-6 days a week. Let's experiment with strength base. Let's experiment with volume. Let's just kind of figure this shit out.
What were your goals? I'm going to make it real personal here on you, man. When you left the service, what were your goals? Fitness-wise, you can, whatever goals you want to share. But what were the goals that you thought you wanted to achieve, and how have you adjusted them since?
I think on the immediate side of that, which is why I built the coaching business probably a year prior to getting out. I wanted a successful coaching business.
Okay.
I wanted to be, I want to put on some muscle. I want to be lean. I want to do that kind of year-round thing. So I'm looking to get my best physique right around the age of 40, 41-ish. Yeah. And so those were kind of my short-term goals at that point. But both of those goals take a consistent amount of effort and I guess steps and pivot points and they're more complex than.
So then those were your goals. What did you do coming out to try to hit those
I
goals?
pushed too hard in the physical fitness realm. I tried to diet too hard on some of those things. And this is coming from somebody who knows the steps and who will, I eventually, I'll circle back down, but I eventually down the road was like, fuck, this is not the advice that I give people. Like the successful advice that I give people.
It is hard sometimes to listen to yourself.
Yeah, no
It
kidding.
is.
Like,
it is. So I had to
yeah.
I had to dial back and then kind of pivot in. And that's when I changed back to, 3 or 4 days a week I did. And ultimately now I'm on 2 to 3 with some movement every day. I'll flip-flop from lifting to conditioning and just make sure I get my steps in. And I do the forgiveness thing when it comes to eating at this point. Like I have more good days of eating where I'm eating things that I enjoy and they're similar things. And then when I have a day that's off where I just dig into some junk food, like I let it go.
Like a gallon tub of yogurt with cereal.
That actually was on track.
Yeah, I was like, that fits his
That
his
actually
macros.
fits. Yeah. But the other night, I went through a Bogey's pizza, and then I ended up having.
I haven't had a Bogey's pizza.
I don't know. I ate like 4,000 to 6,000 calories that day. I didn't even track it at that point. But so that day, I let it go. At most, like I said, I put on a few ounces of body fat, and then the next day, I fucking crushed it. So you're going to have those ups and downs, and I like to hammer the statement in the least amount, and it's not just working out, the least amount of force and adaptation, whether that's lifestyle, whether that's movement, whether that's just stress you're purposefully exposing yourself to, the least amount to force your body to adapt. Most of us have no interest in being professional athletes, so why are you picking out the professional athlete's workout from Men's Fitness that took that athlete 20 years to get to the point where they could handle the volume?
Man. We're not.
So many people jump right into that. It's so wild. And they're like, "Oh, I can't keep doing this."
No shit.
Duh.
Yeah. When you can look close enough to a professional athlete by taking your time, working out less, focusing on your nutrition. Again, if you're a newbie to the mix,
It is hard
it takes
to believe,
less
though,
to
Mike.
adapt.
It's
I get
so
it.
hard to believe. I
Completely
did
get
not
it.
believe you when
I
you
know you
started
didn't.
this.
I know you didn't.
I did not believe. I was like, okay. I mean, we'll see some results. The amount of results that I've seen with that blows my mind. It still blows my mind.
Yeah.
I can't believe I lost as much weight as I did, and that my physique changed. Like genuinely, I look in the mirror still, and I'm like, I have shoulders. Like I'm not like I have some muscle to me.
Yeah, and that stuff's not going
have.
away just because you don't work out for a month or so. Like you've built it up over years. You made small architectural changes to your body that take a long time to gain and a long time to lose. So as long as you're not spending 6 months to a year not training, like you're fine. You get to have the downtime when you're able to forgive yourself for having the downtime. We all have ups and downs, and I'm not comparing anybody's to anybody else's. Like our pain is our pain. You shouldn't be comparing it to anybody, no matter what. So I'm not
Yeah.
trivializing anybody's things, but we all have ups and downs, and we all have to find a way to get through them. We just have to. Like, the other option is just, stay stagnant and or die. You have to find a way to get through your shit.
Yeah. I mean, and it's easy to talk about and it's easy to be like, you just get through it. Like, here's the thing.
Oh, and I never say just.
Yeah.
But we
I think
don't
that-
have an option.
I think, again, we said that. I think the biggest step is it's always the mental side is always the biggest step.
Yep.
That's the biggest hurdle through everything that we talk about all the time. It's always, where's your mindset? But I think in this scenario, it really does start with that forgiveness. Like, allow yourself, okay, hey, I spent the last 25 years of my life failing or in this routine. I'm allowed to struggle to restart now, to find my new routine.
Absolutely.
I'm allowed to be like, because that's something that I've personally dealt with is I feel like I had my shit together. People knew me as somebody who had my shit together. And I feel like recently I haven't had my shit together as well as I normally do. And I'm like, I'm allowed to not have my
Fuck
shit
yes,
together
you
as
are.
well
Yeah.
as I used to.
The most put
To, like,
together
put it-
people in the world have times where their shit isn't together.
Yeah,
So
and-
just looking at them through social media or the news or whatever, you're missing a large part of the fucking story. And some of the most successful people out there are the most fucked up people in general, too. So
100%. Well, they
bear
have to
in
be.
mind,
Think
that's
about.
a thing.
We're talking about to talk about the professional athlete. We're talking about all these professional athletes. Like, think about all these people that don't have their lives together. Like, it's ridiculous because they have to invest all of their time. These people with fantastic physiques that are in the gym all the time, they have no other social lives.
Correct.
They do nothing else. Do
Yeah.
you enjoy going fishing? Do you enjoy having a beer with your friends? Do you enjoy going to the movies? Do you enjoy those things? Because if you want to look like those people, you cannot enjoy those things.
Correct.
You have to give up something. We talk there's sacrifices. They literally sacrificed their lives. Michael Jordan sacrificed his entire life to be Michael Jordan.
But I mean, that's what makes the greatest.
is.
Like,
And let
it's
those
that level
people
of
have
discipline and extremis. Yeah, and for the average person, hell, I don't want that. I don't consider myself an average person. I don't want that.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a level of happiness, and you see a
but
lot.
stop comparing yourself to those people.
Absolutely. And
The fucking society puts it in perspective for like
Well, they
that
idolize
for us, where
it,
like
and
they
they
really
wanna
make it
chase
seem
that.
like you have to do that.
But I also think that the fitness industry promotes that mentality. Take this pill, do this workout program, do this supplement, and you will look just like me, the people who are on fucking gear. Like, it's sold to misinform, and that's a shitty fucking thing. And then again, now you have the opposite side of that coin, where I've seen a few posts recently where it's one of them, somebody had just posted a meme, and it's funny, but it's like, choose skinny or choose happiness. And the top shows like a workout picture, and the bottom is like a cheeseburger. And I think there was a cat in there, super cute.
Nope, I'm out.
But I think that's even misinformation right there, because
Yeah, I feel like I can have a cheeseburger and
you
look
you
lean.
can. But look at let's pull those separate
Yeah, I
things
need both of those.
apart
I'm
right
hungry.
there. When if you are skinnier or leaner, you're likely to be more happy long term. And I'm not talking about like eating disorders or somebody who's going through a hard time has just lost a lot of weight. I'm saying in general, the leaner you are, the more hours of the day you're going to be happy. And if you're not doing anything in that realm of trying to better yourself, and you just shoot for the cheeseburger for your 1 hour, 40 minutes of mouthgasm explosion,
Bro,
of
10
food,
minutes tops.
but you're going to spend the other 20 hours of the day unhappy because you're not healthy. You don't like the way you look. You don't like the way you feel. So it's too polarizing and too simple of a
It
means
is,
to
yeah.
do
But I
things.
also don't
They
think
make
you
it
have to
obsessive
decide.
almost.
They do. Where there's literally a balance because, like you said, the cheeseburger fits.
Yeah.
The exercise program fits. You were
Yeah.
trying to improve yourself. You're still eating things you enjoy. Now you can be happy. Happiness is not a choice in food. If you always choose the quote unquote happy section of that food, you're going to feel miserable. You're going to
Yeah.
have acid reflux, night sweats, you're overweight, you're out of breath. And this is speaking to the average part of the population where 76% plus is overweight or obese. We have an issue
Is
with
that the
people
real
choosing,
statistic?
people are choosing that quote unquote happiness way more than they're choosing to invest in themselves, which will make them long-term happy.
Bro, if
Short-term
I had-
happy or long-term happy?
If I had to give up pizza or burgers, I would have been out.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't have happened if that was the only way to do it. But the fact that you can do it with all of these things still in there, like I feel like that's a lot of people. What was the stat you just threw out?
76 to
Christy-
78%. Let me double check that just in case, because
That
that could
seems
be an old
really
stat.
high.
Oh no, it is high.
Yeah.
Is that off of BMI? Like, are they counting like super jack guys as like fat people?
Maybe.
I think BMI. No, I don't think they're counting jacked people as. I don't know.
Because BMI is a fucked statistic.
I
just saw- I
ratio.
literally
but it
just
actually
saw a
works.
BMI chart.
It works okay with the average population who doesn't have a little bit of extra muscle mass, and they're not athletes.
Do you know what the
It
range
did not
is
work for me
my
'cause
height?
I'm obese on the
Me
BMI
too.
scale.
That's what I'm saying.
And
So,
I'm like, I don't know, I think 11-12% body fat right now. I'm not obese, so that's
I'm obese, and I was like, I mean,
you?
I'm not. Yes,
Based off the scale?
Based off of the thing, I'm obese currently.
wow.
I mean, I'm not.
See, that's what I'm
Again,
saying.
it's
Is that
because it's
number
a
is that
visual
number just like
podcast.
really wrong?
I'm like, what do we
Like,
say?
I would
about
like to know how many
25%?
people have over like I don't know 30% body fat. That would be like a number that.
I mean, you go in any room and look around, you can kind of get an idea.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's not
we got
75%.
there's a lot. I mean, and you're also looking at what like I guess that's all people too. Like, are you talking about just 20-somethings, or are you talking about 30 to 50-year-olds, or
maybe,
50
yeah.
to 70? Like, I'm sure as you get older, that number climbs. That percentage.
Is Michael? What is the body? You said 30% body fat is like.
I think like 20 for males. I think it's like 28% plus is obese. I have to check those numbers. And for females, it's closer to like 30 to 35-ish.
That's
Well,
interesting.
I'm walking
'Cause I
that
feel
line
like
anyway,
I
I
feel like that's not very much, but maybe it is.
I mean, you're looking at almost a third of your overall body is body fat.
I guess.
That's
I don't
a
know.
lot.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, when you look at the
roughly
numbers,
2 out of
that's-
3 U.S. adults are overweight or obese. So we're looking at 69%, and 1 out of 3 are obese, 36%.
So that's nowhere near the numbers that you said.
I'd say it's pretty close.
Yep, real stat. That's
But I mean,
I
that's
just
stat
feel
that
like I feel like if women who are like athletes are somewhere between 14 to 24% body fat, that 30% body fat is really not that crazy. You
yeah.
know?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to line everybody up and be like, I feel like it's also different where people carry it.
I mean, kind of. But if you have a third of your body as body fat, it doesn't really matter where you're carrying it. You're not healthy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're talking about just markers. Yeah, that still seems a lot. Either way, it's
And
still a
we've
lot.
got just under 20% of children are obese.
Under
Children,
20%.
Just under.
Yeah, that part bothers me too. Like, as a parent watching like that's not even the kid's fault,
No, nope.
and it's not even like we can go down the chain here because, like, again, we don't know. We're talking about what was I just saying about people they don't know. Like, where I was just saying, like, if I had to give up pizza and had to give up thing, I wouldn't do it. I'd be like out, and that's where I was before. Not everybody has this knowledge. They don't realize that, like, hey, I don't have to give up these things to get there. So they think they're choosing happiness by choosing the pizza, they have chosen happiness, not realizing
Right.
that they have a chance at a even greater happiness by doing both things.
Geez, Asians are just crushing it.
They're always on. In all
Got
things.
for all females in the U.S., you've got black people are the highest percentage at 54%.
Of what?
Hispanic,
Highest percentage of
50%
what?
of obesity.
Oh.
Then white, then Asian. For males, it's the most obese are white males. Then are Hispanic, so still, and then white, then black, then Asian.
According
The
to
Asians.
U.S. age-adjusted prevalence of adult obesity, NHANES, 2015-2016. So I wonder what that's updated to now. But anyways, it's better than just about 3/4 of the population is overweight or obese, and that's mostly obesity stuff. But overweight and or obese, it puts it in that roughly 70% category, and that's too many people. It's too many people. And it's because of the inexpensive food here is generally fast food. And even that's creeping up at this point.
Yeah, fast food ain't as cheap as it used to be, huh?
No, it's not. None of it
and
is.
it's hard to I have zero judgment for
But you could do
somebody
fast
who's
food. We've talked
Also,
about this too.
in Savannah and on this
fast
island,
food
fast
and
food's not even fast. So now at this point, it's
Yeah.
slow and
But you're
expensive.
talking
Right.
about people who can afford that, somewhat easily at that point. So you look at lower income families who they're going to go for the fast food option because they have a big family to feed and it's less expensive.
But that's not reality either. So
I mean, it used to be with the dollar menu and such.
Yeah,
but
I
you-
get what you're saying.
Yeah,
But,
shout
like,
out to the dollar menu.
I
R.I.P.
think So it is cheaper. It's always cheaper to cook because you buy in bulk. But the problem is even when you're buying at a grocery store and buying in bulk, because they're not necessarily buying fast food, because fast food is still more expensive. Even with the $1 menu, it's still cheaper to
you're
buy.
saying-
But the things that are cheap are pastas,
Processed.
Sauces, cereals.
like
absolutely.
that's the stuff. Like buy
Also,
big
those things
bags
are
of the
super
multi-meals
delicious.
and all,
Correct.
yeah. And so it's easier to feed kids. That's the part with as a parent that's so difficult is the kids want what's tasty. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously high calorie dense foods are tastier.
They are.
So
They're hyper palatable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So teaching them to eat protein, like my daughter knows what protein is. My son knows that they need protein because we talk about it all the time. And I didn't know what that was when I
wish
was
they
a
would
kid.
teach macros and shit like that for kids in school. Like, I'm not saying that they need to victimize certain foods in
They
school.
did. They got rid of all those
But I feel
classes.
like I think, it would be good for for them to teach them, okay, guys, we're going to go outside and we're going to play a bunch of soccer today. So like what macros should we think about here? Like maybe we should eat some carbohydrates, right? Because we're about to go do a bunch of running around, so that they look at an apple and they know that an apple provides them
Fuel.
fuel. It's got carbs, whatever, that kind of a thing. So that that would just be a nice thing to teach in
Everybody.
general. Everybody.
everybody in general,
Everybody
but
needs that information.
If you start with kids,
But
it grows into
I'd
everybody.
like them to know,
100%.
okay,
But that's
I need protein
So we did
for
the
this.
opposite. We had, how many people don't know basic home? Do you know how to sew?
Yeah.
No. Michael learned in the military.
I did.
Oh, in the
I
military.
sewed professionally.
Yes.
They were like, your job is so badass, we have to throw something that's kind of like...
Yeah, how do we downgrade you?
Right.
Okay,
Sewing. Yeah.
But yeah, like home economics was a class. They used to teach people how to cook, how to sew,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
how
never
to
had
do
that.
how to do a checkbook.
I went through a house
We did have
wiring.
typing.
I went through a house wiring
Yeah,
class
good.
for
Which is not really a thing.
electronics and stuff. I got to build shit in there, learn how to wire stuff like
Yeah,
this.
that's
In
pretty
school?
cool.
Grade school?
Yes.
I think
Oh,
some
that's
schools are
awesome.
like trying to bring that kind of stuff back.
But that's what I'm saying. Like those are actual skills.
Useful skills.
But when they got pulled out, this is where we're at now. From the generations that have not learned those skills,
all
as
we
went
ever
on.
got was the food pyramid, which is like kind of garbage. So
It's 100% garbage. Yeah.
Why is it 100% garbage?
the food
Because
pyramid
it's
is like
upside down.
It's upside down. It's also paid for by the
I think Kellogg's probably has
no, and there's like the whole debate about all of that. Like the meat people were like, don't demonize meat, and then like the bread people are like, well, don't demonize bread, So it's like everybody wanted like the pyramid to be stacked in their favor.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, the food pyramid is garbage, and that's all that we were ever taught.
Correct. Which I don't know that I ever really paid attention to it.
No, me
I just
neither.
ate family-sized boxes of Pop-Tarts.
I was always like, well, bread is in the big section.
So
I
what's
like
the?
bread.
Oh, it is in the big section. So
Yeah.
the bottom of the pyramid is bread, cereal, rice. So that's what you're supposed to eat the most of.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Isn't the pyramid kind of not good?
I've never I know of it, but I've
Yeah.
never really like looked at it. But yeah, the middle section is fruits and vegetables. Well, that's good.
Which
Then-
also, yeah.
And then meat's at the top, I think.
But
No, the top is
fats and oils and stuff.
Oils and
sweets.
stuff, yeah.
I mean, that's right.
Ish.
So this one I'm looking at also has holy crap. All right, so the very top of it is fats, oils, and sweets. It says use sparingly. That's
Okay.
appropriate.
Sure.
Not for my life.
The next, the next tier down it's the dual tier. It's milk, yogurt, and cheese group, and it tells you the amount of servings you should have of that a day. And then right next to it, which is just as important, according to this, is meat, poultry, fish, dry beans, eggs, and nuts, because those are all equal.
Yeah, totally the same.
Not the same at all. And then they have this servings recommendation for that. So they're the same amount of servings for milk and for meat. Those two are the same. What do you think this daily servings is for those two things? Just
2 to 3.
2 to 3 is what
That's
I was gonna
100%
say.
right.
Yeah.
2 to 3 servings per each of those. Now, the next group down is vegetable group, which is a little bit bigger than the fruit group.
So 3 to 4 servings.
So 3 to 5 on the veggies,
Okay.
and the fruit group is 2 to 4.
Okay.
Which I'm not angry about that.
No, that actually makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
not
right.
too bad.
Yeah.
You get a little bit more fiber and
The only part of this that's
veggies.
the really big issue is I feel like,
the 50 servings of grains.
yo,
Was it like 8 to 12 or something?
6 to 11 servings of bread, cereal, rice, pasta group.
Now-
I wish that's how it worked. I would eat 6 to 11 servings of pasta every day.
In a fairly well-rounded diet,
I
you
mean,
tend to get a little bit more carbohydrate
you're
based
gonna,
than anything else, and that's fine. But I think the food pyramid should be more of a food trapezoid.
Yeah, I feel like the shape is wrong.
Yeah.
Because you should put a little bit less importance on the carbs just for balance, and a little more on the lean proteins.
Also, like, can we
dairies,
like
and fruits and
split
veggies?
apart?
I just fit in the carb mix.
Can we split apart our proteins? Like, why? What is happening there?
Yeah, that's the part for me too. Like, not all meat
Also,
is
I don't
created
feel like I
equal.
eat that much dairy, but maybe I don't know.
You don't need a lot of dairy, but
2 to 3 servings is easy.
I
That's a
recommend
16-ounce
dairy in
glass of
general
milk.
because that's where you're going to get
servings.
most of your
Yeah, okay,
calcium, and it's still got really good protein. I have dairy pretty much every day, and if I don't, I have a calcium supplement.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I do a lot of dairy. I'll drink just glasses of milk because I enjoy it.
That's why
But,
I think my snack yesterday in between meals was a Fit Crunch bar and a 16-ounce glass of the Carb Master milk. So I still get my 40-plus grams of protein to maximize muscle protein synthesis, and it's a nice little snack, and the dairy is filling.
I really enjoy. I pick them up all the time, mainly because I'm driving all the freaking time. But the protein shakes in a bottle, but the
pre-made.
milks,
Yeah.
but they're milks.
I love
like
that
the
he was
Fairlights.
making fun of how I said mirror earlier, and
Yeah,
he
right.
says milk.
Milk.
Every time.
Milk.
Milk. Like it has an
Milk.
E in it. It's milk. with
You're
an
right. It is
I.
milk. You're
Yeah,
right.
You're talking about
Boom,
the Fairlife?
in your face, Victor.
Yeah, I like the Fairlife a
The
lot.
Fairlife.
I love
Yeah.
Fairlife.
They have, but then they have so many different versions. They have the one that I really like right now that I'm at this one gas station carries it, and I'm stopped there all the time. It's 160 calories and 30 grams of protein.
Is 160? I thought it was 150. The
Is it-
vanilla and chocolate ones?
Is it chocolate or is it a
but
different
it's
flavor?
base.
In the
I get
white
vanilla.
bottle?
I've really started to like the vanillas more than the chocolate.
I like the vanillas more than
Interesting.
chocolates.
Yeah. I was all chocolate all the time.
I can only ever
I don't
Maybe
even know
find
I've
the
ever
chocolate.
had a vanilla
Yeah.
one.
The vanilla ones are delicious.
The elites, the vanilla one,
The Core Power Elites?
the Core Power
Yeah.
Elites. I think my tier was this is what my tier used to be. It used to be strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, and now it's strawberry and vanilla are like A and B, and then the chocolate.
I like I like strawberry, like Nesquik strawberry.
I used to drink the shit
stuff.
out of that.
Me too. Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I've liked any of like the strawberry.
I didn't really,
milks
because it
I've
was like
tried.
strawberry banana, I thought, the
No,
Core Power
that's
Elite.
the
I
no,
didn't
that's
like
not
that
the
one.
elite. That's the 26 calorie. So they have
Oh, you
that
could
one
be
too.
right.
They have
Yeah,
there's the regular that has 26 grams of protein, and I drink these way too often.
I found the 30 gram.
do.
I found
I
the
do.
30 grams of protein Fairlife had a better calorie to protein ratio than even the Core Power Elite ones, which are
Also,
42
they
grams
taste
of
a little
protein,
bit
like
better than the
240
Core Power
calories.
Elites.
They do.
240 and and the 40 grams of protein on
42,
the
yep.
elites. Yeah, 42. Yeah, those are. I sometimes I find them to be too strong.
Yeah,
of
I don't like them
flavor,
very
Yeah.
much.
The elites,
Even though the aftertaste and its stickiness
but the
around your
vanilla
mouth.
doesn't bother me.
Yeah, vanilla's just delicious.
Yeah, the vanilla doesn't bother
Shit, I
me.
gotta go try vanilla now.
You gotta try vanilla.
Yeah, the vanilla is my favorite one. But they have the like I said, it's just like a regular milk, but it's like a I don't even know what they call it. I don't remember what they call it, but the 30 grams of protein for the 160 calories. I'm like all day. Like
All
if I
day.
stop for a drink, I was like, I'll grab one of those.
All damn day.
I'll grab a.
And you take that
something,
with like a Fit
whatever.
Crunch bar too, where you get that.
Yeah,
that
you're
chew.
washing
It's
that
real
down with
satisfying.
some
Or
milk.
like we were talking about earlier, eat what you want, add what you need. I've been doing it where I'm like, I just really want shit, and I'll go grab a donut or something ridiculous, and then I have
And
that
good
too.
milk.
And then you have the
so
shit,
I'm
yeah.
also satisfied.
Absolutely.
It satisfies all
And
the
that's still like
pieces.
maybe a 500 calorie snack, which is fine. You got all the
Yes.
protein you need.
Yeah.
You got the taste fix out of the way. You're still on track.
Yeah, because like a donut's not bad if you eat one of them.
Correct.
The problem is it's not satiating enough.
It's not.
Correct.
So you want to eat 10 of them,
Yep.
and then you're like, oh, I just downed 3,000 calories. Oh, man. So if you do it and you add the protein to it, like I add the shake, and then I'm full. And like I'm satisfied for a while. Like it really has made a big difference in that realm. I've also recently tried to switch back out of eating the crap, and I'll go back to
crap?
Yeah, the protein bars. There are some protein bars that I really dig that are just delicious. Like the Fit, I can't talk enough.
Oh,
about the
Fit Crunch ones were.
bars.
And
Yeah.
I've been really digging that. Was it the cookies and cream one? Or
Yo,
milk and
I was
cookies?
telling
Milk and
Victor
cookies.
earlier, the Built bars, the Built Puff bars. I really like the Built Puff bars, but they have a Built Puff chunk bar.
Yeah, and where are you buying these from? Because I can
The
never
internet,
find them.
I buy them.
So like
directly
on like
from
the Built
yeah.
website, I need.
They
to go do
have
that.
a
Those things are
cookies and
banging.
cream one that's like deliciously soft, puffy, and it's
Yeah.
got like chunks of like cookie
I love
shit
that.
on top. Oh man,
I want those.
yeah, those are really dope. Speaking of proteins and stuff, I have a recipe. Michael, hit me.
Great bees, culinary concoctions. Boop boop boop.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael.
I have to video you one of these times doing that so we can put that
I
up on
get
the
totally
internet.
into
The
it.
dance in the face, I can't help. I know I look ridiculous,
The
but I
hands
have to do
go.
it every time.
Okay, so I made a pizza recently, and I kind of mentioned this, I think, at one point, where you can make pizza dough. You can make dough in general with flour and plain Greek yogurt.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So instead of doing that, I made it with chickpea flour.
What is chickpea flour?
Chickpea flour.
It's flour made out of chickpeas.
It's flour made out of chickpeas.
Right.
It has good
Write that down.
macros.
Better macros.
Better macros, yeah. So, but it's a little bit weird. And, like, it's not self-rising flour, so I did have to add, like, some baking powder and some salt. I also added, like, a bunch of Italian seasonings. I was making pizza crust.
You never go
so-
wrong with Italian seasoning.
Yeah, so I was like, how do I pizza crust this up a little bit?
Piece of crust the shit out of it.
And it is really fucking filling. I think I should have pressed it a little bit thinner. That's why I want people to try it, because, like, I can only eat so much fucking pizza. But
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what was it overall?
On a repeatable factor.
I would say it's probably like a 7 as goodness. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
pretty good.
honest. How much
If
you
I
be
could have
honest?
gotten it flatter, I think it would have been better, because it was like a little bit dry. It was like too thick. But my wrists are all fucked, so I couldn't
Oh, yeah.
put the downward pressure to make the dough flat. It was like really hurting my hands. So I was like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. But yeah, so I think making it a little bit flatter would be good. I think also maybe doing like a half and half real flour and chickpea, or
you
adding
go.
some flour or
Play with
something
it a
like
little bit,
that.
yeah.
I think playing with it a little bit would be the move. It was really, really filling. It totally gave us a bunch of gas, though. So, maybe just eat some Beano or something like that if you're sensitive to the beans.
What was the
But,
macros?
one slice was 293 calories and 26 grams of protein.
Yo!
I ate 2 slices and I was full as fuck. So it was kind of nice, because, like, it's very rarely do I eat 2 pieces of pizza and I'm like, I am super full and satisfied. But, like, I barely could get that second piece down.
All right.
So that's kind of nice.
That's
and,
clutch.
Yeah.
and we put chicken on it, so it would have been probably less good if I didn't put chicken on it. But
So
basically,
most of
just
the protein
put
come
chicken,
from the chicken?
Put chicken on
I
your
feel like a
pizza.
standard slice of pizza is roughly 300 calories as is.
It is. That's what I feel like, too.
Hang on, let me look at the breakdown.
It's about that. So I stop. That pizza.
So I wonder if it would be similar macros with
time.
just the flour and
I put
better
ham
tasting.
and chicken on there. Yeah, maybe I should look at it. The chicken gave us per slice, so 11 grams of protein came from the chickpea.
All right.
4 came from the yogurt, 4 from the ham, 8 from the chicken, and I think that adds up.
All right, so you're not
How
getting
much fiber was in it? Did you get a lot more fiber because of the chickpeas?
How much fiber? Hold on. Hold on.
Computing, processing.
Computing.
Be with you in one moment.
One moment.
Mike, we need elevator music for the whole.
Oh, God.
whole
Mike,
music.
get us something.
I was like, are you singing the Jeopardy theme song?
No, that was called appropriation. I just sort of stole some of it to go into.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Don't ever ruin my
This
elevator
says
music
it
again.
had 5 grams of fiber, but
Yeah, I think you might be better with the flour.
yeah. So
Taste
maybe I'll-
wise and macro wise.
I think it probably taste-wise would 100% be better. I'll try it. But anyway, you can do those things. You can use, what's good about it is that you're taking Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt is good. It's giving you protein,
Yeah.
right? And you're making a dough that now has more protein in it. And, and then you put chicken on it
I
or
wonder
whatever
if you
meats.
could do that with the Kodiak flour.
Sure.
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not. I think you could.
Kodiak flour, and so what?
That's
was it?
your
So
homework, Victor.
I'm gonna make it.
I wonder if you could just,
so just
use
Kodiak
flour.
and
Kodiak flour, as long as it's self-rising, you might have to add baking soda. if
What
it's
about
not.
regular
Yeah.
flour but plain protein?
Sure, could do that too. I have that as
That'll
well.
all mix in pretty.
This
pretty
is I
evenly,
really
would
wanted to
think.
try all of these things,
Yeah.
but I was like, how many fucking pizzas am I going to make to try
Yeah,
all
We
of
should
this?
have a pizza off.
A pizza off.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. But yeah, that's a good idea. Plain flour, add plain, protein powder
Yeah.
and Greek yogurt. Or Kodiak cake and add Greek yogurt.
Yeah, so that's all it was, just Greek yogurt and the flour.
That's
awesome.
it. That's literally it. I mean,
it's
add whatever you
dough?
add,
Yeah,
seasoning
yeah,
if you want, or add salt or what the fuck ever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's
Oh, I'm gonna
fascinating.
try that.
All right.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Kodiak thing, I'm gonna bogart for 2 seconds.
Go for it.
I found a Kodiak cake pumpkin flour.
Yeah,
Tis
that's
the season.
It is the
I'm so
season.
excited.
I do love pumpkin
In fact, as
everything.
soon as we get off of here, I'm making myself a bowl cake with the pumpkin and my cinnamon protein
You should put some
powder.
chocolate chips in there.
I love that for you.
I don't like doing that.
Oh my God.
Michael, did you hear what he said?
I
On
did.
air and everything.
I don't like
Everyone's
that.
going to hear that.
I especially because I'm eating it as, I guess, lunch now. But like if I was doing it as a snack, like a dessert, I don't look at it as a dessert. And so for me, psychologically, if I put the chips in, talk the chips in it,
Makes it a dessert.
it makes it dessert.
All right.
And so I don't like to do that.
All right.
So what is this called? What do they call it?
What do you mean?
What is the name of this food item that you're eating? Would it be called a cake, would you say?
Oh, it's a protein pancake cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've called it.
Sounds
since.
desserty to me, but it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, you're not
I mean,
wrong.
it's sweet-ish.
Although, I
but
mean,
you can
pancakes
also,
are a meal for breakfast, you know?
I mean,
Saying.
right?
they sell
You can put chocolate chips in
Nutella
those too.
Nutella pancakes at IHOP over there. That's considered breakfast. So you know.
I get the protein packets there, and I very much consider
are
it
actually
breakfast.
pretty decent.
And I put bananas in there. They are very good.
Yeah.
very good.
It's like 36 grams of protein for
That's
that
pretty
small
good.
stack. Yeah. Order 2 of those. Get
Not too shabby. So
Jesus.
try your pizzas. I'm now
Yeah,
so
everyone,
curious.
please, everyone make a variety of this and report back so that I don't have to make
Send
100
pictures.
pizzas.
I need to see visuals on the pizza. So
Yes.
post the pictures too, because you eat with your eyes first.
Yeah.
And if I make a pizza and it doesn't look like a pizza and it looks kind of shady, I'm not going to.
I have a photo of my pizza, so I'll start us off, and I will post a picture of my
love
pizza.
Perfect.
And then everyone else has to also make
All right,
pizza.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be honest. This one,
Yeah.
she gave herself a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
so
it could be better. It definitely could have been better. I think I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 on the fact that I think if I had actually been able to press the crust, it would have been like really.
That's right.
I really could not get there, guys. It was like hurting my hands real bad.
Yeah.
I should have made Aaron do it, but
Yeah, but why else do you have them around?
I know.
Like,
You're
what's-
right.
What
He
other
should
purpose
earn
does he
his
serve?
keep.
What other purpose? Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Whoa.
What?
I have a tiny announcement.
Oh, okay, Michael.
Oh,
No, it's nothing major. It's tiny.
Okay. All right.
So as I'm finishing up building my website, I'm not really taking one-on-one clients right now. So I did put a link into a link tree on the account. I've started doing macro consults.
Ooh.
Fairly inexpensive. They're $49 a pop. So if you're struggling to figure out your calories and macros to kind of start your game off, go ahead and hit that link. Go through. I'll help you out.
Cool.
And I'm going to start putting workout programs in there as well until the website's up, and so I can start to link everything through that. I already have your basic foundational 12-week training block
And I find the link tree on your Instagram.
on my Instagram. Yep, go
Which
to
is
the
at?
link tree. Body by the Bear. That's me. This guy. Good baby.
guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Again, as always, hit us up on the socials, like our pages, like Body by the Bear, and also go and get yourself a consult and get started on the road.
Damn right.
Set up your routines. Mike, I'm going to hit you. What are the 3 things we talked about today that are most important? You talked about
Making
these.
pizza out of flour.
Yeah, that was a pretty important one right there.
Oh my gosh! For setting up a new routine,
Establish your
getting-
routine. Start
What are the
simple
3 things how we do
and
it?
repeatable.
Okay,
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness and flexibility.
sweet, love it. One more.
Yep.
Give me another good one.
Those could have been 2 right there.
That would
You
we
set
should
it
have.
up,
Why
you
did
put
we
them
smush
together.
I know,
them
I really
together?
did screw up.
Yep. Now you need one
and,
more.
and don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Oh, I like it. That's a
Yeah.
good 3.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Don't
yeah.
be afraid to fail. Forgive yourself for when you do.
Yeah.
And set up things that are repeatable, and
Repeatable,
sustainable.
achievable, sustainable little goals.
Yeah.
Start small. Build on that.
Oh, those are.
We are. Oh my God, we are so genius.
Truth and knowledge, right there, right there. Guys, you are the best. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for spending some time with us
Thanks
today,
for
and we'll see you
following.
next week.
Bye.